The Marvels is coming this year, and as the date gets closer and closer, I can't help but feel more and more excited to finally see Carol again. And this time she'll have Monica and Kamala with her, and they're kinda sorta like a space Charlie's Angels. And Captain Marvel's movie gets hated on a lot, but I actually like the movie, and I recently rewatched it, and there were things that I really loved about it, and I want to talk about those things. If you want to check it out, I do have a video talking about what I thought was wrong with Captain Marvel, but this is not that video. This is the video where I talk about what I think is right with Captain Marvel. So let's get started.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
I want to do a numbered list this time because I love Jenny Nicholson. This is not in any order though, because being organized is not a trait that I have. Number 1, Carol's powers. Marvel Studios' creative team doesn't always get things right. They got things very wrong the day they put Scarlett Johansson in this wig at the end of Black Widow, but they did get it right when they chose how they were going to visually portray Carol's powers in the MCU. Just her regular photon blast I think looks so beautiful and spectacular with the shades of blue and gold they put in it, and they feel very powerful too just looking at them. One of the things that I love about Carol's powers that I don't think gets noticed too often is how before she does anything big or spectacular, she usually gets hit or absorbs energy. When she was captured in the Kree mine prison, she absorbed energy from the spaceship. You can see it here with the ship's power going on and off. Before she fought the accusers, she took multiple blasts from them. Before she destroyed Thanos' ship in Endgame, she also took multiple hits from it. And even here, when she was landing to face Jude Law, you could see these electric lines fizzle in the background. I'm not sure if this is something they've intended to consistently do so far. Well, I mean, they are the ones making these movies, and these are their artistic choices, so I guess they did, but I'm not sure if it's intentional, that before Carol does something big and spectacular, she gets hit with a lot of energy. And I like that detail so far. I don't know if they're gonna stick with it. I like it because it's consistent with Carol in the comics, that she has to absorb energy and take hits from her enemies, and no matter how much it hurts her, it's okay because it's what she does. She takes the hits to sort of charge herself if she wants to hit them back heavy. And I like this aspect of her binary form because I think it's great when it costs my heroes something before they get to do something powerful. It kinda makes her similar to Bishop from the X-Men, who I thought was really cool in Days of Future Past. He has to get hit with energy first so he could charge up. I think it's also a great way to balance out her power set if she has to take multiple heavy hits first before she can charge herself up to hit them back heavily. It's that way in some comics, and I like it, I think. Carol's powers are just so beautiful. You can see in the climax the scenes with Carol in her binary form destroying spaceships. It's such a beautiful visual treat, and it comes at such a climactic point in the movie that it feels really triumphant to watch. If I had one complaint, it would be her hair and her binary form. It was kind of awkward in this scene in the movie, and I would have been fine with this if I hadn't seen this VFX test that Marvel did with Brie. Watch it. Tell me which one you think is better. Look at this. She's taking on her binary form, and it actually feels like she's feeling it surge through her body. I don't think this is better than this. But again, even without that, I really love how they visually portray Carol's powers in the movie. Number 2, Carol yeeting off Jude Law.
Prove to me you can beat me without.
I love this scene so much because it makes so much sense in the context of the movie. I know there are people out there who compare this scene to Cap's scene in The Winter Soldier and use it as some sort of like a gotcha, like Carol bad because she didn't do what Cap did. And I hate that so much because did you watch the same movie? Have you not been paying attention? What has happened to media literacy and comprehension? Cap's scene from Carol's scene is a totally different scene with totally different contexts. Jude Law, this is a man who's controlled Carol so far as Carol knows, because, you know, she has amnesia. Her whole life, Carol has been controlled by this man. As far as she knows. For as far as she can remember, this man has always told her to minimize herself and reduce her powers and to fight down at his level. He's always told her that she wasn't strong enough, when really one photon blast from her alone can send him off to the edge of the room. He tries to manipulate her by telling her that she's getting emotional when she's using her photon blasts, but really, that's just one of Carol's tactical advantages. And I love it so much too because in real life, more often than not, men manipulate and reduce women by telling them they're too emotional and not capable enough. So to see that in the movie, I thought it was very clever, and to see Carol no longer listening to Jude Law's manipulation. I keep referring to Jan Rog as Jude Law for some reason. But yeah, to see Carol blast him off while he was trying to once again get her to fight him down at his level, it was so satisfying. There's a line in one of the teasers that they cut that I really wish they'd kept in the movie, and I want to show it here. This was cut in the movie, so I'm only guessing where it lands in the movie, but after Jude Law tells Carol that she can't send him back and come for the Kree.
The war, the lies, all of it.
You can't do this.
I think she was supposed to say this line.
I'm kind of done with you telling me what I can't do.
And yeah, the movie works even without this line, but I love it so much. The way Brie says it, it's such a wonderful declaration of, yeah, I'm done. And I wish they kept it. It works still that they didn't, but,
I'm kind of done with you telling me what I can't do.
Number 3. Brie fucking Larson. There's one scene in this movie that really blew me away with how much restraint and nuance Brie was giving into the role. Once Fury and Carol access the files that had information about Pegasus, Carol starts realizing that maybe she had a life on Earth. Maybe she had been lied to by Jude Law, and that maybe after all this time she had been a human that was taken by the Kree and brainwashed into being a soldier. You can see tears welling up in her eyes, her anger, rage, curiosity, disbelief. You can see it all on Brie's face, but held back and kept bottled and at bay. But it's there. It's boiling and it's simmering.
Oh, and your light-speed engine is toast.
She sees the picture and she realizes, oh, I know this place. I've been dreaming about it.
When did this crash happen?
6 years ago, 1989.
Who was the pilot?
Most of this thing's redacted, but... You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Back in a minute.
And I'm wondering, did people not see the scene? Because I remember when this movie came out, trolls on the internet were saying that Brie was wooden in this movie. And I was confused because did they not understand that Carol was supposed to be a military soldier constantly told to be stiff and wooden and not be emotional? To be unfeeling? Wasn't that the point of Jude Law? So why are we surprised that she's acting that way? And in the scenes when Carol gets to Earth, she does loosen up a little. Her interactions with Fury are so fun and charming, but you still see that space military stance in her. Needless to say, I love Brie, and I'm glad she's her Captain Marvel. And I think she's one of the best things in this movie.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
Number 4, COULSON. I'm one of the people who watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm part of the small but dedicated fan base.
A small but dedicated fan base.
We have a small but active fan base.
And I love that this movie had Coulson. He didn't do much, but anytime he was on screen, I just loved it. And of course, if anyone was going to follow their gut and disobey orders, it would be Coulson. And I love that they make that a parallel between him and Carol, that it takes a good soldier to know when to disobey orders and follow your gut.
That agent that stopped the Skrulls from finding us?
Coulson, the new guy. I guess he had a feeling. Went with his gut against orders. It's a really hard thing to do, but it's what keeps us human.
It's endearing and sweet. Also, Carol's the inspiration behind the Avengers. And in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Fury basically said Coulson was an Avenger too, so that's a connection that I find really cool and sweet. Number 5, Lashana Lynch. She is, hands down, probably the best performer in this movie. I teared up when she was motivating Carol when she said,
"And you were the most powerful person I knew. Way before you could shoot fire from your fists."
when she said that line, even I felt powerful. I'm kind of bummed that Maria's dead now, but who knows? Maybe she could still show up one day. She was the Captain Marvel in that other universe, and I hope they revisit that. Or like at least some other version of Maria. There is a rumor about the Marvels that I'm just remembering now. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna talk about it. Number 6, Talos. There's a scene in this movie where Talos was disguised as a SHIELD higher up and they were dissecting a dead Skrull body. Once Talos is left alone, he does this.
Safe journey to the beyond, my friend.
In hindsight, it shows so much about the character. It gives a lot of depth for Talos. The first time you're watching this, you're probably just thinking, ooh, he's a Skrull. But upon rewatch, you're kind of thinking, oh, these guys are refugees, and you know, he probably knows this guy, probably really cares about his people because they're just trying to find a new home. And it's kind of sad. He was just out here looking for the people they were separated from and looking for a new home. And he's dead now.
Your life began the day it nearly ended. We found you.
Number 7, all these little things. The cinematography in Louisiana, I think, is so beautiful. And if we could have a Marvel movie set here, I'd love it. I also really love the VFX that they do here for the Skrulls when they're transforming. It looks so gruesome and like it even kind of hurts. It looks like it's a really painful physical transformation. It probably isn't. Talos never said it was painful, but it looks painful, and I love that. It's kind of like a body horror moment. Also, the VFX for this is probably expensive because they do their best to hide these transformations on the Secret Invasion series. Of course, I can't not mention Carol going through the 90s internet. Also, the Just a Girl fight sequence. I thought that was so fun. It's just, you know, don't you just love it? When you're just a girl and fighting space cops? I love it. The Marvels is still a few months away. This video was just a way for me to burn some time while waiting for it. And now I'm done, and the Marvels isn't here yet. If you have any suggestions for what to do, please leave a comment and tell me. Bye!